Vampires never age. That is the myth. But the actors who played them do. They grow older, they change, they struggle, they survive. Some leave Hollywood, some leave the world, and some, against all odds, find their way back to the light, Santa Carla, the murder capital of the world. A boardwalk town where vampires hid in plain sight, where a gang of teenage boys led by a golden-haired rock star turned eternal youth into something terrifying. The Lost Boys was not just a horror film, it was a cultural earthquake. It gave us the image of vampires as cool, dangerous, and heartbreakingly young. That was 1987. This is 2026. The boardwalk still stands. The music still plays in our playlists. But the faces that made that film unforgettable have lived 39 years of joy, addiction, tragedy, reinvention, quiet lives, and one loss that still stings. Some of them became icons. Some disappeared from Hollywood completely. Some fought demons more real than the ones on screen. And one of them left us far too soon. This is Hollywood Tribute. And this is the story of the Lost Boys. Not the vampires. The people who carried them. Where are they now? What did fame do to them, and who among them is still standing in the California moonlight? Number 1. Michael Emerson, Jason Patric. He was the older brother, the reluctant hero, the teenager dragged into darkness while trying to protect his family. Jason Patric was 20 years old when he became Michael Emerson, and he carried the weight of the film on his shoulders. Born in 1966 in Queens, New York, Patrick came from acting blood. His father was actor and playwright Jason Miller. His grandfather was Jackie Gleason. But Patrick never wanted the easy path. He studied. He waited. He chose roles that challenged him. When Joel Schumacher cast him as Michael, Patrick brought something unusual to the role. Not just fear, not just confusion, a real sense of a young man losing himself. Michael was not a typical horror hero. He was vulnerable. He was seduced. He was almost lost forever after The Lost Boys. Patrick had a strong run. Rush, Sleepers. The Lost Boys remained his most famous film, but he never let it define him. He worked steadily. Independent films, stage. He avoided the blockbuster machine. In the 2000s and 2010s, Patrick became more selective. He appeared in The Losers, The Outsider, and Wayward Pines. He also faced public personal struggles, including a highly publicized custody battle and periods away from the spotlight. In 2026, Jason Patric is 60 years old. He lives in California. He acts occasionally. He speaks little about the past. But when he does mention The Lost Boys, his voice carries a quiet gratitude. I was just a kid. We were all just kids. We did not know we were making something that would outlive us. We just showed up and tried not to mess up. Number 2. Sam Emerson. Corey Haim. He was the little brother, the comic relief, the vampire-obsessed kid who turned out to be right all along. Corey Haim was only 15 years old when he became Sam Emerson, and he became a star overnight. Born in 1971 in Toronto, Canada, Haim was already a working actor when The Lost Boys began filming. He had been in Firstborn and Murphy's Romance. But The Lost Boys launched him into another stratosphere. Sam was the heart of the film. Funny, brave, and surprisingly wise. Haim played him with an energy that felt completely natural. He was not acting like a kid who loved comic books. He was one. After The Lost Boys, Haim became a teen idol. Licensed to Drive. Dream a Little Dream. He was everywhere. He was young. He was handsome. He was loved. But behind the smile, something was wrong. The screen shows photographs of Haim in the late 1980s and early 1990s, then darker images from later years. Haim struggled with addiction. It started early. It never fully stopped. His career suffered. The phone stopped ringing. He went from starring in films to cameos to nothing. The same energy that made him charming became something else. Desperation, he tried to recover, multiple times. He went to rehab. He tried to act again. He appeared in the Lost Boys sequel, The Tribe, but it was not the same. The magic was gone. The industry had moved on. On March 10, 2010, Corey Haim died at the age of 38. The cause was pneumonia complicated by drug use. He was found in his apartment in Burbank, California. He was alone. A black and white photograph of Haim appears. His death shocked the world, not because it was sudden, but because so many people had seen it coming. The same fans who loved him in The Lost Boys had watched him spiral for years, and they could not help him. In 2026, Corey Haim is still remembered. Not as cautionary tale, as a talent, as a boy who made us laugh while fighting monsters, as a young man who could not fight his own. Number 3. David. Kiefer Sutherland. He was the vampire king, the golden-haired leader of the Lost Boys, the one who smiled while he hunted. Kiefer Sutherland was 20 years old when he became David, and he became an icon. Born in 1966 in London, England, Sutherland was the son of legendary actors Donald Sutherland and Shirley Douglas. But he did not rely on his name. He built his own career. The Lost Boys was his breakthrough. David is the most memorable vampire in film history for a generation. The bottle of blood, the saxophone, the laugh, the death scene that still shocks. Sutherland played him with a cold charm that made you almost want to be bitten. After The Lost Boys, Sutherland became a star. Young Guns, Flatliners, A Few Good Men. But it was television that gave him his greatest role. Jack Bauer in 24, 9 seasons, an Emmy. A cultural phenomenon. In the 2010s and 2020s, Sutherland continued working. Designated Survivor, The Confession. He also returned to vampire lore in the Netflix series V-Wars, playing a man turned into a vampire against his will. In 2026, Kiefer Sutherland is 60 years old. He still acts. He also sings and tours with his country band. He has lived through divorce, health scares, and the quiet challenges of aging in Hollywood. But he remains one of the most respected actors of his generation. His relationship with The Lost Boys has softened over time. He no longer runs from it. He embraces it. Because he knows that David made him. And he made David. We were just a bunch of kids running around the boardwalk. We had no idea it would become what it became, but I am proud of it. I am proud of us. Number 4. Star, Jami Gertz. She was the girl caught between worlds. The beautiful stranger who wanted to escape the vampire life but did not know how. Jami Gertz was 21 years old when she became Star, and she gave the film its heart. Born in 1965 in Chicago, Illinois, Gertz came from a wealthy family, but she wanted to act. She studied at NYU. She landed roles in films like Endless Love and 16 Candles. But The Lost Boys made her a star. Star was not a typical scream queen. She was sad. She was trapped. She was looking for a way out. Gertz played her with a melancholy that made her feel real. You believed she wanted to be saved. After The Lost Boys, Gertz continued acting. Less Than Zero, Renegade, Twister. She also moved into television, appearing in ER, Ally McBeal, and The Neighbors. But by the 2000s, she stepped back from acting to focus on family and philanthropy. In 2026, Jami Gertz is 61 years old. She is married to billionaire Tony Ressler. She is a part owner of the Atlanta Hawks. She runs a major philanthropic foundation. She is one of the wealthiest actresses in Hollywood, but she rarely speaks about The Lost Boys. When she does, she is gracious. That film changed everything for me. It was magical, and I am grateful to have been part of something that still matters to people. Number 5. Alan Frog. Jamison Newlander. He was the Frog brother, the one with the rules. The one who took vampire hunting seriously when no one else did. Jamison Newlander was 21 years old when he became Alan Frog, and he became a cult icon. Born in 1963 in New York City, Newlander had been acting since childhood. But The Lost Boys was his most famous role. Alan Frog was the brains of the operation, the keeper of the comic book Wisdom. He and his brother Edgar were the only ones who understood what was happening in Santa Carla. After The Lost Boys, Newlander continued acting, but never at the same level. He appeared in films like The Blob and television shows like Beverly Hills 90210. He also worked behind the camera as a producer and writer. In 2026, Jamison Newlander is 63 years old. He lives in Los Angeles. He makes occasional convention appearances. He still looks remarkably like Alan Frog, just older, and he still remembers the rules. Number 6. Edgar Frog, Corey Feldman. He was the other Frog brother, the loud one, the one with the weapons and the attitude. Corey Feldman was 16 years old when he became Edgar Frog, and he was already a veteran. Born in 1971 in Los Angeles, Feldman had been acting since he was 3. He was in Friday the 13th, The Final Chapter, The Goonies, Gremlins, and Stand By Me. He was one of the most famous child actors of his generation. The Lost Boys added another classic to his resume. Edgar Frog was the muscle, the true believer, the one who would not stop fighting even when everyone else gave up. Feldman played him with an intensity that was both funny and terrifying. After The Lost Boys, Feldman kept working. The Burbs, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But like Corey Haim, Feldman struggled. He spoke openly about abuse in Hollywood. He fought addiction. He fought for survival. His career was never the same. In the 2010s and 2020s, Feldman reinvented himself as a musician. He toured. He released albums. He also returned to the Lost Boys universe, appearing in the sequel The Tribe and voicing characters in video games. In 2026, Corey Feldman is 55 years old. He lives in California. He still performs. He still speaks out about the darkness he survived. And he still carries the memory of his friend Corey Haim. I miss him every day. We were brothers, you know? Not just in the movies. In life. Number 7. Max. Edward Herrmann. He was the grandfatherly vampire, the head of the comic book store, the one no one suspected until it was too late. Edward Herrmann was 44 years old when he became Max, and he brought class to horror. Born in 1943 in Washington, D.C., Herrmann was already a respected actor before The Lost Boys. He had been in The Paper Chase, The Great Gatsby, and Annie. He was known for playing presidents, lawyers, and fathers. Max was something different. Evil hidden false smile, Herman continued working steadily after The Lost Boys. He narrated countless documentaries. He played Richard Gilmore in Gilmore Girls, becoming beloved to a new generation. He won Emmys. He earned Tony nominations. He was one of the most versatile actors of his time. On December 31, 2014, Edward Herman died at the age of 71 from brain cancer. He was surrounded by his family. A black and white photograph of Herman appears. He never saw the Gilmore Girls revival. He never knew how much a new generation would love him, but his work remains. Max was just one role in a lifetime of brilliance. Number 8, Lucy Emerson, Diane Wiest. She was the mother trying to hold her family together in a town that wanted to tear them apart. Diane Wiest was 39 years old when she became Lucy Emerson, and she gave the film its emotional anchor. Born in 1948 in Kansas City, Missouri, Wiest was already an Academy Award winner when she joined The Lost Boys. She had won Best Supporting Actress for Hannah and Her Sisters. She would win again for Bullets Over Broadway. Lucy was not a typical horror movie mother. She was vulnerable. She was romantic. She made mistakes. Wiest played her with a warmth that made the film feel grounded. Without her, the vampires would have won. After The Lost Boys, Wiest continued her extraordinary career. Parenthood, Edward Scissorhands, The Birdcage, Law and Order. She remains one of the most respected actresses of her generation. In 2026, Diane Wiest is 78 years old. She lives in New York. She acts occasionally. She speaks rarely about The Lost Boys, but when she does, she smiles. Those boys were wonderful. Corey and Jason and Kiefer. They were young and full of life. It was a joy to be their mother, even for just a few months. Marco, Alex Winter. He was one of David's vampire gang, the quiet one, the one who did not speak much but always seemed to be watching. Alex Winter was 22 years old when he became Marco, and he would become famous for something else entirely. Born in 1965 in London, England, Winter moved to the United States as a child. He had been acting since his teens. The Lost Boys was his big break, but it was his next film that would define his career. In 1989, Winter starred as Bill S. Preston Esquire in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. He became a pop culture icon. The Lost Boys became a footnote. Winter continued acting in the 1990s and 2000s, but also moved behind the camera. He became a director. He made documentaries about Frank Zappa, the Panama Papers, and the dark web. He reinvented himself completely. In 2026, Alex Winter is 61 years old. He is a respected documentarian. He lives in New York. He still appears at Lost Boys conventions, and he still remembers the boardwalk. We had no idea what we were making. We just knew it was fun. And now, almost 40 years later, people still want to talk about it. That is wild. Number 10, Greg. Billy Wirth. He was another member of David's gang, the one with the curly hair and the smirk. Billy Wirth was 25 years old when he became Greg, and he had one of the most memorable death scenes in horror history. Born in 1962 in New York City, Wirth was a model before he was an actor. His striking looks landed him in music videos and commercials. The Lost Boys was his first major film. Greg was not a deep character, but Wirth made him memorable. The way he died, disintegrating into dust while screaming, became iconic. After The Lost Boys, Wirth continued acting. He appeared in television shows like 21 Jump Street and films like Child's Play 2. He also worked as a producer and director. In 2026, Billy Wirth is 64 years old. He lives in Los Angeles. He makes occasional convention appearances. He is still handsome. And he is still proud of being a Lost Boy. Number 11. Doko Brett Koehler. He was the silent member of David's gang, the one who never spoke but always looked hungry. Brett Koehler was 22 years old when he became Doko, and he became a face that horror fans never forgot. Born in 1964 in Los Angeles, Koehler had a small role in a big film. After The Lost Boys, he continued acting sporadically. He appeared in films like The Dungeon Master and television shows like Hunter. By the 1990s, Koehler left acting. He moved behind the scenes. He worked as a property master and set builder. He lived a quiet life away from the spotlight. In 2026, Brett Koehler is 62 years old. He rarely gives interviews. He rarely attends conventions. But when he does, fans still recognize him. The silent vampire. The one who did not need words,